Check, check. Oh, did I start my live stream? What the hell? I literally started the live stream without even meaning to. I didn't know I was ready. How's it going? Mets and overall baseball fans, welcome back to the channel. And guys, this is not going to be a long show because the Mets played a total of 5 innings today as they lose by a final score of 4-0 over the Atlanta Braves for their first of a 4-game set at Citi Field against these Braves. Really just frustrated more than anything because, you know, as soon as the Braves get on the board, that is when the game basically ends. I mean, the Mets had no chance to retaliate, and because it was in the 5th inning that the Braves scored the first run of the ball game, we find out that, okay, that is the ball game. So, all right. I mean, this is annoying. Like, I'm bothered that I'm even talking to you guys right now. Not that I have any issue doing the live show or anything, but it's like, this wasn't even a ball game. You know, this was literally 5 innings of David Pearson looking absolutely sharp until the 5th, threw a hanger to Matt Olson, which is what I feared yesterday, and Rec jinxed it on our podcast today too, bringing up Olson. I said, oh no, he jinxed it. And of course, Olson does exactly what I was fearing he was going to do, and that was an X factor in the ballgame. But even that doesn't matter because Acuna's RBI oppo single in the 5th was the game breaker because the Mets scored no runs in this game. They only had 3 hits rather, my mistake, but 2 of the 3 were from Brett Beatty, which is great to see him starting against a lefty, and then Francisco Alvarez ripping one as well. I mean, there isn't much to get into in this. This absolutely sucked, and I feel for all Mets fans that attended tonight's game, guys. Again, appreciate everyone shopping in for the latest post-game show. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe on all those great things, but, you know, this is going to be a very unorthodox show tonight because everything's very wishy-washy than what we normally do here. But what I want to say was I just feel bad. I just feel terrible for fans that attended tonight's game. And now they're given an offer from the Mets that I see here. They're offered to go for any ticket to get a Mets ticket for a future game that isn't Subway Series. So that's good at least. But I mean, this is one of those games where the Mets were in a very tricky situation because they couldn't right away just say, okay, we're going to postpone the game. We're going to push it a day before even starting tonight's game because the forecast this entire weekend is shit. There's no good weather at all this weekend. Tomorrow, the Mets have a 4:05 game. I don't think that game's going to happen. We'll find out, but I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll see on that front. So you're looking at potentially a doubleheader on Sunday, but the weather on Sunday doesn't look good either. So maybe the Mets do a doubleheader on Monday at absolute worst, the day that, you know, they have to fly to Detroit that night then, and then the Braves have to fly out, going back home or Miami, whichever way they're home or away to face the Marlins next. But it's just a less than ideal situation. And this isn't something where the Mets can easily just push games either because the Atlanta Braves aren't back in town until August. That makes this even more trickier because of the scheduling. The Mets face their rivals lesser than what they usually do. So I feel for fans that attended tonight that had to go through this and just, you know, witness little to no baseball other than the Braves scoring there in the 5th, and that was it. I'm frustrated that this is called an official game, obviously, too, because the Mets didn't even have a chance to try to counter this. Now, granted, I didn't have the utmost confidence in the Mets today as they're now down 4-0 heading into the 6th inning, but the point still stands. You know, the Mets could have still made a ball game out of this, and they didn't get the chance to. So that's definitely the biggest bummer. That is what sucks most about when you have games that transpire like this. I don't know. Again, it's just bad timing. This reminds me a lot, but even worse than last year. Fried has a .45 ERA. Congratulations. It surely will not last, even though that he pitched well against the Mets tonight through 5. I'm just happy, honestly, that the 2 of the 3 hits for the Mets tonight were the kids. I mean, Alvarez getting the start again. Love that. Beatty getting the start, going lefty-lefty without a problem. Like, that's the future for this Mets team in that sense, in those positions. So I'm excited about that. But, yeah, just annoying. This is such an annoying game. It sucks that that's on the books now, too, that the Mets are charged with a loss here. But, you know, when else were the Mets going to play this game? When else were they going to play this game? So I can't sit here and, you know, bite my tongue. I can't sit here and, you know, be freaking out too much. Like, I don't know. How you feeling, Mets and overall baseball fans? Mets, Braves fans, whoever you're a fan of. I appreciate you guys in the live show. Scott, thank you so much for becoming a captain member on the channel. I greatly appreciate you, Gladiator. At least the bullpen is rested. That's true. I mean, that is a positive. But, you know, look, going into the series, I was hoping at minimum the Mets split and at most the Mets win. The Mets winning the next 3 games, I'm not overly confident about, but a split is definitely in the cards. I just don't want to see them drop this series. So, like, if the Mets split, even with their rotation looking like what it is right now, all abiding what we're going to find out with Max on Monday, I'll gladly take that. But, you're going to have Tyler McGill on the bump trying to have a bounce back outing tomorrow against Charlie Morin. And again, I don't think that game's going to happen. So if it does, I guess we'll see. I've got a busy weekend tomorrow with the family, have a family birthday to attend to. So if there is a game tomorrow normal time, I'm going to try my best to cover it, but I can't guarantee right now. But Sunday, Monday, I feel like Sunday's the next day that we will see Mets baseball until proven otherwise. It's just annoying. I hate that I spent my Friday night like this. And I feel for all you Mets fans out there that spent it as well. I mean, I'm not even going to go through breaking down inning by inning. I just want to share with you guys, when we look at the pitching scene for David Pearson tonight, what was annoying about this is that David Pearson was cruising. Like, absolutely David Pearson looked like the David Pearson from last season up until that 5th inning. And that's the annoying thing, right? He has 4 shutout innings, he had a 1, 2, 3 innings with at least a pair of strikeouts and 2 of his 4 innings. Then we get to the 5th, and he gets himself in a jam. And let's talk about this specifically. With 1 out, Eddie Rosario, who's not good against lefties, of course, rips an opposite field single and the DH position against David Pearson. That gets a runner on. Kevin Pillar, former Met, who got his face smashed in with a baseball from a reliever in Atlanta a couple years ago, no less. Now it's a reverse role, and he is an Atlanta Brave, and he rips a single, so 2 on, 1 out. And then Michael Harris, after being in an 0-2 count, works a nice 3-2 count in his favor. Was a little frustrating there for David Pearson. It's a fielder's choice. Beatty gets the throw to home to get that runner out, but Harris reaches first based on fielder's choice. Then afterwards, first pitch swinging, Ronald Acuna Jr. does exactly what you'd expect him to do. Opposite field RBI single that drives in the first round of the game. And that was the Mets' demise at that point because, as frustrating as the Olsen home run was, it didn't change anything in this ball game. Just Acuna's RBI alone won them the game essentially. And that would have bothered me even more, if I'm being quite honest with you, than Olsen hitting the home run, because losing 1-0 in a shortened game versus losing 4-0 lessens the blow slightly. But then you have Olsen, who gets a beautiful hanger, and I say beautiful for Olsen, and terrible. It was a piece of you-know-what. It was dog shit from Peterson there to Olsen, hanger, slider, right down the pipe. And what do you think Matt Olson's going to do with that, right? He rips that bad boy. I said it in my postgame show yesterday. I was scared of Matt Olson heading into tonight's game. Lefty on lefty, he has not done well this season, but it's David Pearson who just gave up multiple nukes over his last couple starts to lefties. So he has not done well. He's been hanging his slider way too much, and that makes it a 4-0 ball game after David Pearson, again, 6 strikeouts, 4 earned runs, 1 walk. David Pearson, if I'm not mistaken, has allowed around 17 runs in his past 3 starts. Thank God, thank goodness, thank gracious that we have Justin Verlander back in this rotation for the upcoming series against the Detroit Tigers, in which Justin Verlander today, for Mets fans that aren't aware, went 4.2 scoreless innings in Double-A for the Rumble Ponies today. Had himself, I think, 6 strikeouts, looked very sharp, was very effective with his strike to ball ratio, and he will be making his Mets debut against his former club there in Detroit next series from now. And once Verlander and Max are in the rotation, Max will return this Monday. I mean, I'm sorry, but David Pearson, as sharp as he looked in those 4 innings, that inning itself is enough. And to lose the ball game this way is so beyond frustrating. I'm favoring Joey Lucchesi over David Pearson right now in the rotation. Peterson has far better stuff. There's no denying that, but his location is simply not there. And I'm going to take a guy that has at least given the Mets 2 serviceable starts now versus David Peterson, who has yet to even give the Mets 2 good starts this season. If I'm not mistaken, David Pearson has only given the Mets 1 good start all season long. Joey Lucchesi's already given the Mets 2, which is why I'm favoring him. So then you'll have Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Kodai Senga, Tyler McGill, and Joey Lucchesi as your 1 through 5. And I'm not going to complain about that too much. And then if Lucchesi doesn't do well, all right, then you give Pearson a shot again. You seesaw it, you get creative with it. But frustrating. Mets hitting stats, there's nothing to rag about. It was through 5 innings. Yes, they weren't hitting, and am I shocked that they weren't hitting against Max Fried? No, not at all. But again, Beatty getting hit. Alonso got a single. That is correct. It was an infield single, actually. Just legged out a throw there from Von Grissom, who, when he made his throw, dropped it for a second. When he made his throw, it was a little bit of a high riser, and Olsen had to literally jump up and then slam down with his feet, of course, on the bag, and Alonso beat it just in time. But, there weren't too many, overall takeaways from this ball game where I'm like, oh my God, of course this happened. It just, it was basically that fifth inning. When you give up that one and then eventually 4 runs and then the game's called, it's annoying. I wish the game was called as soon as I ended so I didn't have to wait this long to do the post-game show, because the game got called for the rain delay at 8:30. It's now 10:23 p.m. Eastern time, but it is what it is. Mets, Braves fans, guys, we're looking forward to hopefully a bigger series. We still have a whole series left, right? We still have 3 more games, so view it as a normal series. It sucks that the Mets got the L in this fashion. Braves fans obviously will gladly take an easy, effortless dub any and every day of the week just by 2 baseballs that they were able to barrel nicely. But for the Mets now, they need to regroup and come together right away. And whether that's going to be tomorrow, and maybe if the game's going to get pushed from, say, 4 o'clock to maybe a 7 o'clock, I don't know if that's at all in the cards. I don't know if that's possible. What I do know is that the forecast looks like absolute doo-doo this weekend. So whether the Mets play tomorrow, whether they play on Sunday for a doubleheader, or even on Monday for a doubleheader, we will be making sure that we're covering it here on the channel per usual. Albino, thank you so much for the donation. He says, be good if Vientos and Mauricio and Braves series, wishful thinking. Yeah, no chance. That's not going to happen. Vientos, speaking of the devil, let's talk about Mark Vientos for a second, folks. Marky V, who looks like the next man up of Mets prospects to be caught up at some point this season, has casually hit 363 this season, a 1,400-plus OPS, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs in 23 games currently, including at minimum 3 hits and an RBI tonight for the Syracuse Mets. Mark Vientos has been roaring hot, just like how Beatty and Alvarez were to begin the year, as is Mauricio. Mauricio's banging 330 plus with 1,000 OPS, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. So these guys are definitely going to be cracking the Mets at some point this year. But if I had to be a betting man, I'm definitely saying that Vientos is the likely man up next, especially if the Mets say don't get consistent production at the DH position. That's where Vientos would come in the fold. But right now, I'm not surprised that they're going to be riding things out with Vogie and Pham for a little bit, and then at some point, Vientos will be making his season debut. But, a good thing is that the Mets' top prospects are really starting to ball out here. Beatty, again, has been looking sharp. Beatty now with his hit today. I know it's a small sample size, but batting 333 with an 861 OPS. We love to see that. Alvarez is he's so close to the Mendoza line. He's at 194 for his average and just under 500 OPS. I know that's terrible, but honestly, for a 21-year-old, if he can get his batting average to upwards of 250, I will gladly take that. He's taking his at-bats better, and he matches up very well against lefties. The only thing with Alvarez that we're still seeing there from the plate approach, at least, is that he's just swinging a lot. He needs to take some more pitches. That's really going to bode him well. Well, just like how he was walked by Trevor Williams yesterday, which I was shocked by. I'm like, why, if you're Trevor Williams, why aren't you challenging Alvarez? He clearly didn't have the playbook on him. If you just go up and in on Alvarez a couple times, he's probably swinging for the fences and will probably miss because, again, he's inexperienced, right? So Alvarez, I'm happy with the signs I'm seeing from him. I'm really liking his game behind the plate, too. His defense continues to get better, in my opinion. Very, very sharp for a 21-year-old, better than I initially expected that he would be at not only this age, but this early in his career. And the bat-to-ball skills, it's exemplified. So I hope that tomorrow against Charlie Morton that we see these guys back in the lineup, especially after a short night. There's no reason not to have Beatty matching up against Charlie Morton. That's a good matchup for him as well. That's a heater that he should be able to handle with these. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, Charlie Morton is the man that Beatty hit his first career home run off of against the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta last year. It was a curveball they ripped to right for his first bomb of his young career. So I like that matchup. Alvarez, the same applies. Alvarez just needs to make sure that he, gets a strike zone command a little bit there. But, I hope we see the same lineup tomorrow. I really do. Max Fried, I wasn't feeling confident heading into this game, so I'm not like, oh my God, this is crazy that he's carving up the Mets. Like, I kind of expect this. We know what the Mets' kryptonite is, so it's now important on combating that and rectifying that as much as we can. But more than anything, winning ball games that you should win. Charlie Morton against Tyler McGill, that is a very close matchup pitching-wise right now. I expect McGill to have a solid outing, but again, if that's tomorrow, if that's a doubleheader on Sunday, we'll find out soon enough. Strider will go tomorrow? No, Strider's not going tomorrow. Unless you're right. which you could be. Oh, it is Strider tomorrow. Son of gun. So I just went that entire past 5 minutes talking about Charlie Moore and when he's not pitching tomorrow. Fan-effing-tastic. Regardless, I still want Beatty and Alvarez to start. Alvarez is going to get blown away by Strider. I fully expect that with the high heat because that's something that he's yet to get comfortable with in the bigs. Beatty, though, has the bat to ball skills. Beatty can handle the velo just fine. I'm looking forward to that matchup. Whenever they face Charlie Morin, should that be on Sunday, which is probably when they'll face Strider. Regardless, I'm looking forward to these matchups. Tomorrow's matchup, yeah, Strider versus McGill. That's definitely in favor of the Braves. Love McGill, but Strider's just pitching like a stud right now. I hate him, and that chamomile sipping, porn stash looking mofo is doing so well, but, he's doing well. And you can't just say, oh, he sucks because he doesn't, I just haven't been a Strider fan since he made those stupid comments last year saying the Mets got lucky when they clearly hit him well, dribblers and all, and dominated when they won 3 or 4 at home in their second series of the year or third series of the year, I think it was, back in the summer. So I've always had, that kind of ill will with him since then, but nothing personal, I should say. I'd love to see Strider versus Verlander. I'm sure I think we could see that happen this year. Let's see. Albino says, I like see Mets light up Strider. Yeah, I would like to see the Mets light up Strider. Who wouldn't? Braves fans wouldn't. Many of you guys in the live chat, but I know I would. Why is it such a Mets thing not hit with runners in scoring position? Funny enough, the Mets were really, really good with runners in scoring position last year. This year, they haven't been off to a good start. However, when the guys are producing in Lindor that you just saw on the screen and Alonso, they have been. The Mets just don't have enough power threats in the slap the way that the Braves do. And that's their biggest issue. It really is. They match up very similar in a lot of ways. But even after the Braves losing Dansby Swanson, they still have a deeper lineup than the Mets when it comes to pure talent, pure bat-to-ball skills, and guys are kind of in the peak of their primes right now. You know what I mean? Like, when you have Riley, when you have Albies, who's off to a great start this year, when you have Acuna, who's looking like the Acuna that we all kind of expected, right? When you have Olsen, Sean Murphy, who's one of the best hitting catchers in baseball, because of course he is. Like, those 5 in itself is a ridiculous core group, and they're all locked up long-term, right? So for the Mets, they don't have enough protection aside from Lindor and Alonso that we all said heading into the year, and it's continuing to be full-fledged right in front of us. So you got to hope that not that we would want a young kid in Beatty, especially to be that saving grace, but it wouldn't hurt if he became one. It wouldn't hurt because, when Michael Harris is going to be on, which he will be very soon, again, for the Braves, seeing Harris break out the way he did, we would love to see the Mets get that production towards the bottom of their order with a guy like Beatty, a guy who doesn't only have great bat-to-ball skills with spreading the ball for opposite field, but also someone that can hit the ball out of the park, that could easily give you 20-plus home runs in a normal calendar season. So, yeah, it's frustrating. This team post-trade deadline is certainly not going to look the same as it is right now. But more than anything, how they're matching up against this Braves team, I'm just hoping for a split and at best. If the Mets somehow, some way pull 3 straight wins out of their ass over the next handful of days, it'll be the biggest mind blown imaginable with how this pitching matchup is. Not getting my hopes up slightly. I just hope they don't lose the series, let alone get swept. That would be terrible. But until then, that's probably going to about wrap it for us guys. Pat Benson, thank you so much for the $5 holla. Wardy, we're screwed any way you look at it. The matchup was never in the Mets' favor this weekend since the rotation has been acting the way it was with the not only the inconsistencies but also with the injuries too. Yeah, just got to hope that the Mets, when they play again, whether that's tomorrow or Sunday, whenever it may be, that they just, give a valiant effort. I love this rivalry, so I want it to be heated. And it's never heated this early in the season, which is kind of a bummer. But I'm looking forward to, especially later on in the year, when those matchups mean more, because the Mets play Braves far less than what they did last year with the rule changes now, with having to play every single team at least once in a normal 162 season. Before I get out here, though, guys, I have to let you all know about our fantastic partner on the channel, and that is my absolute great friends at Mantis Sleep. Mantis Sleep, for those that don't know, is the revolutionary sleep mask that you never knew you needed, because I never knew that I needed it. And since this has been in my possession for the past 2+ weeks, I don't have it on me. It's right by my bedside right now. I use it every single night. These things work wonders, and that is why I brought them on as a partner, a partner here on the channel, because I love their products so much. They're so comfortable. They help me with my sleep. They help create REM sleep for me as well better at night. And the Pro Mask and the Top Rays, the one I have, very affordable. It's around like $45 if I'm not mistaken. The Sound Mask here, which is a Bluetooth mask, is so sick. They have a silk mask, a sleep mask, and then they have other ones. You know, if you have kids out there, they have a kids sleep mask. They have a heat sleep mask that can help bring heat around your eyes if you want the whole 9 yards. Nice steam and, just something comfortable, warm steam, the same way that you would be getting, a hot towel on your face when you're, say, at the barber, stuff like that. Or if you want a cool mask, which I know I do, because when I go to bed during the summer a lot, it's a sauna in my room after doing these live shows. So I need that cool mask that has coolant and makes the around your eyes nice and cold for night. And then you even have a weighted mask. So guys, I love this product. We've spoken endlessly about them. They have been a great supporter here, great partner here. Many of you guys have already went out your way to purchase and acquire some of these, so I greatly appreciate that. So guys, again, all you need to do is go to Mantis Sleep using my promo code WARDY for 10% off your purchase. Mantis Sleep, again, you might be wondering, why are you partnering with a sleep mask of all things? But as a content creator, someone that does nightly post-game shows, at least 100+ games a year out of 162, a lot of these games are night games. And when I cover out West, like I did a week ago too, I'm going to bed really late, and I need to make sure I get comfortable sleep on a night-to-night basis, so I'm feeling fresh and rejuvenated each time I'm out here talking to you guys. And that is what Mantis Sleep helps so much for me, and I cannot wait to use their product for the entirety of the season, as I already have for the past couple of weeks. So again, make sure to check them out. Mantis Sleep, use the description down below. Use the link in the description down below, rather, using my promo code 10% off with promo code WARDY. And thank you guys all so much in advance for your endless support. But that's going to do it for the live show, guys. I'm out of here. Not much to talk about. Whenever the Mets play baseball again, we will sit here. We will talk about it. One final update as well. According to MLB.com, Jose Quintana has been cleared to start his throwing program, and we'll see exactly how long it takes him to get ramped up, healing back from his surgery that he had. So positive news on the Quintana front. Carlos Carrasco is throwing, so we'll see when he returns. But overall, there is positive news in Mets land in the pitching front. But boy, oh boy, do we need it, and we need it fast. Guys, thank you so much for watching, live or on replay. Let me know your thoughts down below. And this is Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.